and welcome to Chanakya's Face Off. We have with us uh, Dr. Rajkumar, Chief of Lifeline Hospitals and a BJP supporter who's working on the ground for BJP. But here he is to tell us about what is actually happening, unbiased view on what is actually happening in the capital of Tamil Nadu, Chennai. Today's constituencies are the three constituencies in the capital city, Chennai. Welcome and vanakkam, doctor.
Thank you, Mala. Welcome. Thanks, and a big hi to all the viewers.
Thank you, sir. So today we're going to talk about the Chennai constituencies. Chennai, the fortress of DMK. That's how it's always called. So is BJP going to make a dent in that fortress? And the next equally powerful party is ADMK, because nobody has swept Chennai like how other than DMK, I'm telling, nobody has done it other than Ms. J. Jayalalitha in 2014, where she swept all three constituencies. But
Yes.
that has never happened even during the time of Mr. M.G. Ramachandran, the founder himself. So, having said that, it's not that ADMK doesn't have a hold, but it's definitely a fortress for DMK. How do you see all three constituencies? We'll get deeper into each of the constituencies, but I just want to get an overview of all three constituencies from you before we drill deeper.
Absolutely, Mala. So 2014 was the complete ADMK sweep. 2019, complete DMK sweep. And this is called flip-flop politics, where everybody votes one person in or everybody votes one person out. And Tamil Nadu is famous for flip-flop politics. But this time, the 2024 elections are going to be different. It's not going to be, even if it's not going to be a flip-flop, and even if it's a relative sweep by one of the Dravidian parties, relative sweep, the other one is also going to be having a bit of a bite, and so also the BJP is definitely going to have a bit of a bite. Not only the winning party, the other two parties are going to also have a significant bite in Chennai. So it's not going to be a polarized sweep. Jayavardhan swept it in 2014 in South Chennai. Tamarachi Tangapanian swept it in 2019 in South Chennai. It's not going to be that polarized. It's 4.3 lakh, 4.7 lakh. It's not going to be like that because it's a tough face-off between the DMK, the ADMK, and the BJP. Let's look at the individual candidates. Let's take South Chennai.
No, is it even a three-way contest?
I mean, look at South Chennai. You have three fairly important personalities. You have Tamarachi Tangapanian, incumbent MP, daughter of a minister, her brother's a minister, powerful, well known, big name. Then you have Jayavardhan was an MP before Tamarachi Tangapanian, and his father was an MLA, very powerful MLA, and a powerful presence. Third is, of course, Mrs. Dr. Tamilisai, who was the governor. First time that a governor here is going to stand in Chennai after giving in her resignation. An ex-governor is going to be standing. She was also the ex-president of the state for BJP. Again, a huge personality. Now, people may say this smacks of nepotism. Three people whose parents are all big politicians are standing. But I think it's fair to say that all three of them have crossed that boundary where people can say, oh, you're just there because your mother or your father or your grandfather was. They've at least been an MP once. Let's deep dive. If you look at Mrs. Tamarachi Tangapani, she's an MP in this, and she's in. I reside in South Chennai. We haven't seen a great amount of the MP, and I did not see her vociferously shout in Parliament the way to Kanimari Karunanidhi or the way Murasali Maran's son, Danadi Maran, have shouted and made their presence. So you tend to ask yourself, hey, just a minute. She wasn't in Parliament. She wasn't around with us. She last came 5 years ago. What's she doing now? So purely, if you go by logic, one would question her being there. This is the minus for her. Let's look at her plus. Her plus is that she's with the DMK. That's it. Period. And there's a huge DMK. DMK has, to be honest, done a bit for Chennai. Although there was opposition when she went around, people saying, "What did you do? You didn't even come when there were floods, etc." If you look at say Sivaganga versus Chennai, Sivaganga in 2019, Sivaganga 2024, Chennai 1924, big jump in Chennai. Activity, metro coming up, this coming up, that coming up, hospitals coming up. Definitely, infrastructure work is going on. How much money they took from that, all that's a different matter. As far as John Q. Citizen is concerned, there is activity. The activity is attributable to the current dispensation. And therefore,
Doctor, go ahead, sir.
please,
Sorry.
and
No,
therefore,
I wanted to interrupt on one quick thing.
please,
The thing is, you know South Chennai better. In fact, your name was considered.
yes,
So you must know that constituency very well.
yes.
So you're tell me honestly, doctor, how far do you see? Because the claim for South Chennai is there is yet another man, doctor, not the professional doctor, but
Jayavardhan.
he got a doctorate. So Dr. S.G. Surya, who has worked on the grounds in South Chennai, and he has
Yes.
received appreciation for completing the first. It's the first constituency in Tamil Nadu for BJP to have booth level workers in all the booths. So some work has definitely gone into South Chennai, and BJP is a urban. So far, it's been an urban party. So when it comes to urban areas, definitely their focus has been good, and especially in South Chennai, with all this work done by Dr. S.G. Surya,
Ajit Surya.
you are a person who knows this constituency and who had plans for this constituency. So tell us, are the people listening to you? Are the people even aware of what BJP has done? And are the people even aware of what BJP could do if elected? It's a pretty
See
close
the
constituency to you. So,
yes, it's very close to my heart, and as you said, I was being also considered for it. So when I did a ground level study, the people in Mylapore, the people in Tinagar and Belachuri, very savvy. They knew exactly what was happening. They knew what the BJP meant for them. The people in Sholinganallur, in their own worlds, much younger crowd. The two, it's bipolar in Sholinganallur. It's either very young people who are going to the IT, they don't even know what's happening. What is this man? Oh, some metro, something man, sort of thing. Almost all of them from UP and Chhattisgarh. A lot of them from there working in the IT corridor that's here. So not with what's happening. And the other end is very, very old people, a lot of very, very old people living in Mylapore, Western Nagar, even in Sholinganallur, a lot of retirement colonies, and also in Virugambakam, a lot of old people whose children are abroad. So you can see it's a very different type of distribution. They're not, if you look at North Chennai, there are not that many old people living alone compared to South Chennai. If you look at North Chennai, there are not many people whose children are abroad in IT, as in South Chennai. Look at North Chennai. There are only some areas, pockets like near Saukarpet or the harbour, where Mint Street, where there are Hindi-speaking people. Otherwise, the Hindi-speaking people reside in Central Chennai, go work in North Chennai. Whereas here, they reside and they work in South Chennai. Huge influx of Hindi-speaking people in a constituency called Sholinganallur, which is the
but
most
is that
rapidly
not an
growing constituency.
advantage to BJP because they might well be leaning towards Modi?
Yeah, but those guys don't even, many of them whom I spoke to, had big plans for the big weekend, for the election weekend. They were not fired up enough to come and say, let me try to have the Coombe cleaned up here. There, some of them, the ones I spoke to, I'm just hoping there was a sampling bias there, but it's just a place where they worked for a few years before they moved on to the
So the
US or the UK.
belongingness is missing.
It's not there. So I was also thinking if I could, I spoke to them in Hindi and I said, look, you should vote for Modi. There are a few people, one out of three is very, maybe Modi Bhakt hoon, main dalunga, I'll come and put. But the others are very, there's a laissez-faire kind of attitude where they're not so committed. On the other hand, there are the slums here, a place called Kanaginagar, one of the largest slums in, is might become the Dharavi soon, completely resettled by the ADMK and the DMK. They have zero allegiance with the BJP, and the slum is huge. All of
Why
them
is
together.
this has been an accusation for BJP for quite some time. The BJP are not ready to get their shoes dirty. Why are the BJP folks not penetrating into these areas who are these people who are I mean the so-called slums, the people from there are the ones who are actually running this city. They are the working class
Correct.
people. They are the
Correct.
working class people, and
Correct.
if they go on indefinite strike or something, it's going to the city is going to be
Paralyzed city.
paralyzed. So this is the heartland of Chennai. And why is BJP not stepping its foot into those places, be it
The
North Chennai
RSS.
or in places like Kannagi Nagar, as you mentioned? The BJP is not seen anywhere.
Um, I don't know the real reasons for that, Mala, but I know that the RSS has quietly been working in these places. But the RSS, what they do, they just come quietly, work, and go back. They won't say, you know what, you should vote for so and so. Because the RSS sees themselves as a different outfit to the BJP. And the BJP is still only now getting organized. I mean, SG Surya was in charge and he got the booth people ready when? A month and a half ago. DMK ready when? 30 years ago. ADMK when? 30 years ago. How many guys did we have in our booths? 2 to 20. How many do they have per booth? 100. So for every 1,000 to 1,500 votes per booth, they've got 100 people. And each of them knows the 20 people, knows about 15 or 20 people in a particular street. He knows the guy personally. He's maybe even delivered goodies or whatever earlier. And he tells him, don't forget, remember what I told you? Vote for X, Y, Z, just before the guy is going to vote. These are the
Sir,
people who tell the voters, we know exactly whom you voted for, we'll be watching you. And the voters don't want to take a chance. Shiva
no,
Shiva,
but
they
as
say.
no, but as you said, Mylapore, T Nagar, and Velacheri. So there is a favor. I mean, there is a bright chance for BJP, and I've heard a lot of surveys telling that South Chennai is going to vote differently this time. But after the announcement of the candidate, Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan, not much of a talk about the victory, whether BJP will cross that line and go to the victory mark. Is there a heavy pushback from the cadres on the candidature of Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan?
You're asking dangerous questions here. To my knowledge, Mala, I could not see, at least on the surface of it, a major pushback. But I'm not seeing the kind of frenzied work on the ground. Maybe this is how they function. Maybe it'll get frenzied or frenetic in the last few days. But I'm not
You're
seeing
not answering
any.
me directly, but you are giving me answers.
Maybe they'll get more frenzied. Maybe they'll get more active. We're not seeing huge amount of activity. Surya and his team are doing what they can. I'll tell you what the problem is. One thing is that the voting, the educated, that group population will definitely vote for BJP. One. Two, we are going to make a significant dent in the in the hustings. Who knows? She might even win. I'm not ruling out a South Chennai win. If at all we win anywhere in the three places, it will be in South Chennai. The thing is, the people who are voting against BJP are people who believe that every buck that came for them to be repositioned from the slums in central and north Chennai back to this place, everything was done by one or the other of the Dravidian parties. They didn't have people walking up to them and saying, these are all the schemes available, why don't you take them? Those of them who took the schemes, they had nobody walking inside there and saying, this is how you got the schemes. I'm sure some work went
50%,
on.
50% votes. Dr. Tamarachi Thangapandian, she has secured 50% votes in the 2019 election. Do
Sweet.
you think
Real
BJP
sweet.
stands a chance?
Because the person who's standing against Dr. Tamilisai is against Dr. Tamarachi is against Tamarachi is Dr. Tamilisai. Of course, there's another confusion. There's another
And
candidate
that's
called
that's being considered
Thomas
on the
Delhi.
negative front. So you are telling me that's a positive side of it.
No, because the people will have, no, I feel South Tamil people, no, they have that power, they have that feeling of sympathy. And this is a lady who was a governor, the foremost constitutional authority of two states. She leaves everything and comes for the people's mandate and says, I want to be lesser than a governor. I want to be an MP. If you look at the Constitution of India, governor is way above an MP, unless an MP becomes a cabinet minister or an MOS. MOS is a little bit inferior to governor in protocol. Cabinet minister is a bit higher. The chances are she's not going to become a cabinet minister. So, in terms of protocol, she'll be exactly where she was earlier or a little lower. But she wants to identify with the people. And our people are always a very forgiving lot. Otherwise, you can't get away with so many scams in any other country, but you can get away with them in India. Our people are a very forgiving lot. So they may say, okay, this poor lady, she's been working so hard. She gave up her governorship and she's come there. Now, that factor it won't annul, but it might mitigate that 50% that Mrs. Thamarachi
How
has.
about Dr. Jayavardhan's chances?
So with Dr. Jayavardhan, there are one or two factors for, one or two against. Number one, he didn't come to the community in a big way in the last few years. He didn't. He should have done that because she didn't. If he had done that, then people would have said, X came, Y didn't come, let's vote for X. But that differentiating factor, he didn't take. One. Two, he's got 70,000 to 90,000 fisher folk votes, whom I personally spoke to. I personally spoke to three or four of their leaders, and the news on the ground is they're probably not going to vote for him on the ground because many things that they have asked for have been either ignored or have not been pushed for enough. So this is the ground zero input that he might turn up number three. I might, if I was asked to rate them based on ground zero inputs, on inputs, not based on what I want, it would be probably Mrs. Tamarachi number one, Dr. Tamarachi number two, and probably Jayavardhan number three. That resident ADMK votes are much less. The ADMK doesn't know where they are headed.
I want to quickly move to central Chennai. So, central Chennai is that complete urban population. At the same time, there is a very great amount of minority votes that is backing the DMK in central Chennai. And a person like Dayanidhi Maran, who's been almost, I mean, he got 57.13% votes, if I remember correctly.
How much did he get last time?
57.13%. Yeah, percentage of
Huge.
votes. Yeah, very huge. And he's been continuously the South Chennai face, except for 2014, as he said, that four-way contest where Ms. Jayalalitha was able to capitalize that. Other than that, he's been the face of Central Chennai for quite some time. His father was, and after his demise, it's naturally, it has fallen on his plate very easily without any much struggle or anything. And the minority votes is going to play a very great role in places like Thousand Lights, where you have Egmore to some extent, where you have minority votes, Chepak, Triplicane. Yeah, minority population is very high. And the BJP, how are they going to face this? What is their plan to face this minority consolidation?
You've summarized it very well, Mala. It's just that Mr. Maran, Mr. Dayanidhi Maran, has been regularly going to the parliament. We have to be frank. He's been vociferous about attacking. He attacked the budget. He attacked um, their leniency towards Hindi versus Tamil, etc. He made his presence felt in parliament. One. Two, his name has got a huge instant recall. Maran, Murasali Maran, Dayanidhi Maran, Kanadi Maran, instantly recognizable names. And at the end of the day, at the hustings, that instant recall is very, very important. Number three, he did a few projects. But I saw a few projects with his name written on them, etc. Maybe he didn't spend as much time as the people would have liked him to have spent, but I think he is possibly ground zero, put in more time than either Dr. Jayavardhan or Dr. Tamarachi Thankapani. So that means he's got all the tick boxes. Mursalimaran son, been in parliament, shouted, attended parliament, came here, opened some things, very wealthy, and he has not had any case conviction so far. So, if you add all these factors, he is definitely the favored candidate. He is the blue, and as you correctly said, the entire, my gosh, I must say, tell you this, the entire minority population is being gabalized against Modi. Everyone's being targeted and getting how Modi would create a pogrom against Islam if he came in, and that they would have to go back to Pakistan or Saudi Arabia or
I
Dubai.
have this question also, Doctor. But how are the minorities with SDPA backing ADMK? How much of minority votes do you think is going to be split in this constituency? That's another point that I wanted to talk about.
So first of all, SDPI doesn't have that strong a presence in Chennai. They have a little bit of a presence, undoubtedly, but it's not a huge presence. Number one, in Coimbatore, big. In Kaunambalayam, Sulur, there's a lot of I saw a lot of SDPI flags there, etc. Um, and that's where a few of the votes will be lost to Mr. Annamalai because this combination of ADMK plus SDPI will pull out those votes. But in Chennai, Islamic votes are being polarized by constant brainwashing, and I wouldn't be surprised if they succumb to it. And they a lot of things in there are not at all factually correct. Who's going to prove it to these guys? They get this message: if you vote for Modi, you have to go off to Pakistan or you run off to Saudi. So they're going to get the Muslim vote en masse. Plus his own personal charisma, magnetism, being to parliament, blah blah. So, on the other hand, let's quickly look at Vinod. Vinod does have a sizable following. He's been there for, he's a young man, he's 42 or 43 or something, but he's been there for nearly 20 years in politics. He joined when he was 18 or 19, and he's been slogging. Unfortunately, he's been slogging in North Chennai, but they made him stand in Central Chennai. And in North Chennai last time, he came very close to beating Shekhar Babu, who then became the Minister for HR and CE. He lost by only a few, one of the lowest margins in the state in the 2021 elections was Vinod Selvam versus Shekhar Babu. Now, I can't understand. So, and he's been working there. You should call the guy and say, "Arey, stand here." Instead, they bopped him into.
In North Chennai is what you think.
Yeah. Would he have won? Probably not. Because North Chennai is soaked in there. But you must remember, at least in that one constituency, Harbour, he narrowly lost, very narrowly lost to Shekhar Babu.
Yeah, it was it was a
So,
tough fight. Yeah.
so he would then have a better chance there in North Chennai compared to Central Chennai. Both of them are bastions of the DMK. So that way, if you look, it's going to be a tough fight either way. But as I said, because I keep telling you, if new things surface about the DMK family, say in April 14, then there might be a change of the people's mindset. If
Sir,
new things come up.
Doctor, again, there is one more caste equation that I wanted to. I mean, we spoke about minorities, but there is a very sizable scheduled caste votes in Central Chennai. Close to 17% of scheduled caste votes are in South Chennai. I mean, Central Chennai, and
South also is very high.
yeah, it's
14 or
very high,
15.
but yeah, but here, yeah, considering both the constituencies as well, the BJP is not finding its presence or it's not moving towards the scheduled caste people is becoming a big allegation and a big trouble for them. There is no
No,
face for
the
BJP.
DMK is moving and doing a lot for the scheduled caste people, more than any other party has done since independence. But they've not, I don't know, they've not managed to secure their faith in them. We have
No, but people like
119.
Tirumavalan who can bring that votes for them, if not
Correct.
directly for DMK.
And you have a bunch of people shouting that it's a Brahmin. 119 out of 300 plus 350 MPs for the first time since independence are in the scheduled caste. Thousands of crores have been moved to scheduled caste. They have been so nice to scheduled caste, but they've not bothered to go and tell them, look, I've been nice to you. They are assuming that those guys will know. And then somebody else comes along with a narrative and says, it's a Brahmin party. Do you want Brahmins to kick you out from here? Do you want Brahmins to keep you away from the temples? Do you want, Brahmins to give you wells outside the villages? That is anachronistic. I mean, we're talking something that happened hundreds of years ago. But that hate drive is happening in a huge way, and that's unfortunately for the BJP is going to favor Dayanidhi Maran. It is going to favor Tamilichi Thangapandian.
Moving to North Chennai,
Finally,
nothing.
North.
North Chennai.
Sorry.
So, Mr. Kalanidhi Veerasamy is again contesting and is
So
expected to sweep the constituency.
yes,
But
very non-controversial person. I also personally know him, like Dayanidhi Maran, known to me from school. Karanadi Veeraswamy been known to me from when he was a student, medical student. He was my direct student. Very non-controversial person. He's kept his nose clean, not involved in any scams. He has done his due diligence. He's gone down to the right place at the right time in North Chennai. I mean, he's ticked all the right boxes. And out of the
right,
blue,
but the problems of North Chennai is not discussed anywhere. I mean, I understand that North Chennai has been continuously backing the DMK, but there are very alarming issues in North Chennai, which which a party like BJP, which is trying to grow, should focus on and should be more vocal in raising those issues. So they try to win, they can try to win the confidence of the people, that they are actually at least finally a party is speaking about what my problems are, like in Ennore. The oil refineries,
oh my
they've
gosh, the oil
created
leak was
so
there.
much, yeah, they've created
So much
so
of
much of an
pollution.
environmental pollution that you dig the ground in North Chennai, you're getting oil instead of water.
Yeah. It's becoming like the Texas oil boom or the
No.
California gold rush. It's becoming like
Yeah.
that. You dig it,
Yeah.
you're getting oil because of so much
Yeah.
of oil spillage. There's so much of water pollution where the water table meets that. There is so much of air pollution. There's so much of water erosion in North Chennai, in that Ennur area. But for all that, they listen to all of that and they'll say, well, you know what? Paul
because
Kanagaraj is a
because
nice
they
guy, but he
don't
belongs to a
have
Brahmin party.
no because
Boom.
they don't have anybody on the opposition. You have the other parties have not, I mean, unlike ADMK or DMK, the BJP has not penetrated into North Chennai.
I agree
E-
completely. I don't know why.
even in
Uh,
Annamalai, even when Annamalai was doing his Enman Enmakal, there was a meeting in Mint area, and then it was quickly covered. So you don't you have to walk down the streets. It has to be, with someone with charisma, like people like Annamalai, they have to walk down the streets of North Chennai to get that confidence from the voters. Correct?
I think what Mr. Annamalai has done, he's probably triaged out that area. I told you, there are two or three sick patients, and there's only one doctor. You leave the 90-year-old who's anyway nearly gone, and you spend that time in the other places. You're on the other two. There are three people who come who are brought into casualty, very sick. Doctors would focus on the two who have a higher chance of making it and allow the third old guy with a big injury or whatever to go. Not normally, but in a disaster situation. Because that effort, if you put into this old man, the old man will die and those two will die. So you focus on the other two to save them and let this
No,
man go.
even this, okay, let it go, okay. But you need to have candidates. Okay, I understand the point of Annamalai, but coming to Paul Kanagaraj, right? So that man was never seen when the in 3 months back there was a very bad flood, or 3 or 4 months back the December flood. It was very worse, and people of North Chennai vocally criticized DMK. they
Yes,
were
they did.
they were literally burning, like they were so I mean, they were so disappointed with the DMK way of handling things, and they were very worstly affected. Did
But
BJP, if Pal Kanagaraj is, had an eye on this constituency, he should
should
have
have
been
jumped
in
in.
the ground. He should have been in the
So,
ground. No,
so I
we
think
don't see him at all.
one of the mistakes. Paul Kanagraj did do some work. I think he did some work in Velachery, some other places. But one of the problems with national parties is they don't allocate constituencies. They don't tell you you work in this area. Suddenly one list comes out. Maybe that's the way it works for them. But certainly it prevents good candidates from saying, okay,
No,
let me go to
who
some
worked
place and
from
start.
BJP in North Chennai? Was it Vinoj again? Did Vinoj work?
I think Vinoj did some work in BJP.
Hmm.
There were some other people also who did some work. But they didn't shout down the DMK, but they did some work. They really.
No,
But then
it's a
somebody works
good
in North Chennai,
opportunity.
you put
You
him
know,
in Central Chennai. Somebody works in South Chennai, you put him to stand in North Chennai.
people recognize works, doctor. People recognize. If the party has worked, they would recognize you.
I agree. I think party did work, and I just all I can say is I hope and pray that I mean the party didn't do miracles. What can they do? Yeah, they're not even the current dispensation, but the party worked definitely. But and also the North Chennai people have very short memories. Even if the DMK didn't work, they'll forget it. Whereas the South Chennai people actually accosted Tamarachi and said, "You didn't come. You're coming after 5 years correctly at the time of the elections. Why should we vote for you?" So the South Chennai that way is much sharper than North Chennai. So it looks like at this point of time almost like a DMK sweep. But Vinoj can probably make some dent. Mr. Paul Kanagraj, lesser of a dent. And Dr. Tamilisai, perhaps a slightly larger dent. Perhaps, given the right circumstances, she might tip the scales and win.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thanks for taking time and talking to us. We'll continue with another 3 constituencies tomorrow.
Thank you, Malama. Keep doing this 3 constituencies at a time. And thanks to all the guys who are listening and watching too.